motivation, it's such an overused word. Like, I don't have enough motivation. I wish I had more. I don't seem to know where it is today. Okay, so we're talking about motivation today, and I wanted to go over 4 things in which can help you get out of a rut or out of a place where you just feel stuck or a place where you can maintain motivation. Sometimes we have motivation and it feels good for a couple days, couple weeks, couple months, and then you're like, where did it go? We have to start with where motivation comes from, which is internal. It's an internal thing. You may not have motivation to get up in the morning. You may not have motivation to eat well. You may not have motivation to get your ass to the gym. You may not have motivation to follow through on the tiny little habits that you want in the day for your health. That's okay. It really is, because it doesn't have to do with your inability to do that or the fact that you can't seem to muster up the effort to do it. There's something going on internally. There's some sort of friction going on. So first you have to ask, what is it that you're saying to yourself? And how are you believing in what you say to be true or not? So in the internal dialogue world, are you blaming external or internal factors? So I can't go for a walk outside today because it's raining. I can't wake up early because my partner is already up and it ruins my morning routine. Whatever it might be, if there's some sort of external thing that you are blaming, then that's always going to be there, and that is constantly just going to kibosh your motivation. Motivation needs to be internal. It needs to be, okay, what do I have control over, even if it is the smallest thing? So for the internal dialogue world, 2 things that I already mentioned. 1, what is it that you believe about yourself? So you have to be, it's like the fake it till you make it. So you have to believe that, A, you are somebody that works out at home for 30 minutes a day. You have to believe that you are someone that eats well. You have to believe that you are someone that goes to the gym, or that wakes up early, or goes to bed early. I am an early riser. I am an early to bed person. If you don't internally believe those things about yourself, it's going to be really hard for you to have motivation to do the thing. Well, okay, so I get it. So if it's something new, you're like, wait, how can I already believe the thing about myself, but I don't actually do it yet, or I'm not actually that person yet? I get it. You have to your brain has to convince your body that that's who you are. And so it is a little bit of a fake it till you make it, which is fine. It will help, I promise. So tell yourself, I am a veggie eater. I am someone who meditates 5 minutes a day. The other part is what you have control over. You need to see there to be progress, even if it's just the smallest thing. So let's say you want to go work out before work in the morning. And let's say it's a home workout or gym or whatever it might be. Even if you don't follow through on the actual workout, start setting up your clothes and your shoes to be out the night before, so that when you wake up, they're already there. And maybe you do the workout, maybe you don't. But you have control over those little things. Maybe you go for a 5-minute walk instead of a 30-minute walk. That is something that you can control. It needs to be super, super small, and over time, you start to see, oh, you know what? If I could do those little 5-minute ones here and there, maybe next week I can bump it up to 10. So sometimes we bite off more than we can chew, especially if you've been in a rut with motivation and you haven't been doing the things for a long time. You're like, oh my gosh, I haven't worked out in like 4 months. The last thing you need to be doing is getting a gym membership and saying you're going to go 4 times a week for an hour at a crack. You need to keep it super small. So maybe it's once a week for 30 minutes, and then maybe, 2 home workouts, something like that. Okay, so the next thing you need to be asking yourself are these 3 questions. One is, whatever it is that you don't have motivation for, ask, why is this thing important to me? So let's say it's eating healthy after work. Why do I want to eat healthy after work? What does it give you? Why is it important? What is it? How does it line up in your value system. The second thing you need to ask yourself is, am I just tired? I know this sounds silly, but we are so overworked, so overscheduled, so overstimulated that oftentimes we just need to rest and regain our strength and recharge. And sometimes that in itself will give you motivation because you were just tired. And then the third one is this truly what you want? I'm going to repeat this one again because it's really important. Is this truly what you want? Do you truly want to wake up early? Do you truly want to be happy in your life if you're motivated to just be happy? Whatever it is, you need to ask yourself, is that somebody else's desire for me? Is that my society's desire for me? Is that an old desire that I have for myself that I don't really want anymore? Ask yourself, is this something that you truly want? And if it is, go after it. If it isn't, well, you had a chance to verify it for yourself. Okay, next up is how your brain actually works. We need to identify how the brain works and then how your desires fit into that primal self. So we have our cognizant, your cognitive brain with your primal self that's keeping you alive, right? Your brain is keeping you alive. It's making sure all your bodily functions are operating when you're awake and when you're in sleep. It's also scanning for threats. It's constantly looking for things that are unsafe, and it's doing its job to protect you. And so when you think about something that you want or you desire, you're going to have a moment where you're like, oh, that's the thing. And then just as fleeting as that was, there's going to come swooping in of doubts and unknowns. And that is your brain protecting you because it's like, we're going to be doing something new and it's probably going to be really uncomfortable. And so your desires get trumped by your primal brain because it's trying to keep you safe. Most of the time, when you have a dilemma around not having motivation around something, usually when you have that first moment where you start thinking about it, the first solution that you come up with is probably the one that you need to be doing. And then right after that, right, the brain swoops in, the doubts, the unknowns, and you spend, think about how much time and energy you might spend on something that you're trying to talk yourself out of it, or you're trying to think about all the steps that are going to happen that you're imagining or that you're forecasting that you don't even actually know will happen or not. But your brain and your desires are now butting heads. So that is the fascinating part about motivation, is that there's constantly a dissonance between your brain knows, right? It knows that you want to wake up early, you want to work out, you want to eat well, you want to have stressful or not stressful. You want to have less moments. You want to have less stress in your day where you are able to chill out. But you can't quite seem to make it happen because your body doesn't believe it and your body doesn't feel it. I want to share a tool with you by Mel Robbins, and she is a motivational speaker, and she talks about motivation in terms of the 5-second rule. So imagine that you are trying to wake up early. This is a big one for a lot of us. If you're in bed, the alarm goes off. You either, hopefully don't press snooze right away, but you have that fleeting moment where you're like, okay, I'm awake. I remember that I told myself earlier that I wanted to wake up early because I want to do X, Y, and Z. You have, what she says, 5 seconds to make that happen because, right, you're going to start convincing yourself, talking yourself out of not doing it, and all of the doubts and, oh my gosh, it's going to be so uncomfortable if I get out of bed. It's going to be cold. I'm going to have to be in the dark, and I'm going to be tired, and it's going to be sucky, and it's going to be horrible. But if you add to your moment of adding a 5-second rule in there, what you're going to be doing is just counting down from 5, going 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And what Mel Robbins says is that is creating a cut between our primal brain and our desire self that's saying, I really want to do this. And your brain's like, no, stay in bed. But when you give yourself a countdown, you have a little bit of a cut in that, and then you need to act. You need to get up, you need to make the thing happen, because then you will be so much happier later. And in those 5 seconds, you can say, I want to get up because, right? And it goes back to what I was sharing with you in the beginning of, why do you want this thing? If your own internal desire has a really strong why, then it doesn't matter what anyone else wants or feels for you. It's because you want this for yourself that it matters. And so you just get up, and you don't have to think about how you have to get up how many more days in a row. Just get up today. Just focus on today. Just focus on now, and do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get up. Lastly is appreciations. You have to appreciate the small little efforts that you are putting in. Gratitude is the snowball effect that allows more wonderful, fabulous, absolutely uplifting things to happen. If you aren't appreciating yourself for the little things that you are doing, even if it's just a mindset shift of like, I do want to get up early. Even if you're not acting on it yet, you need to be like, you know what? I'm so happy that you want this for yourself right now. If you are doing the thing, wow, nice job. Way to get in the gym. Way to get into on the floor and getting in a home workout. Way to pull out the veggies and meal prep for Sunday for the whole week. Do the things that you know to be doing, but then you need to congratulate yourself, appreciate yourself. Gratitude snowballs into more wonderful things. I believe in you. If you have someone else that believes in you, which I truly do, if you are watching this video and you are stuck in a rut or you just can't seem to have consistent motivation, know that I am an imperfect human, and I too sometimes don't have all the motivation in the world. But when we have somebody that believes in us, we then are more able to believe in ourselves. So I believe in you. I'm gonna cry. I believe in the ways that you want to feel better and do better and think better are here. It's not a tomorrow thing. It's not a next week thing. Just do a small piece of it today, and you are going to crush this week, and you are going to do fabulous things. And elevating your health is just one of the most beautiful things that you can be doing for yourself. See you next time.